Blackmagic have just released the new version of DaVinci Resolve. So in this video, I'm going to show you how you can take the controls of your nodes from this to this. This is the only video you need to learn how to create a macro completely from scratch. In this video, you will learn how to create a macro, how to create thumbnails for your macro, how to group your controls and create pages to organize them. Not only that, I will also show you some real problems that come with this new feature in DaVinci Resolve and how to fix them. Because if you don't know about these issues, there is a high chance that your macro won't behave the way you expect. And knowing how to fix them will save you a lot of frustrations later on. So let's dive in. So here we are in the Fusion page. What I have here is just a simple setup. I have a background that is set to 4 corners. Then I selected these colors. Then I added a soft glow. This made these changes to this control and connected it to this rectangle just to give it a shape. So the main background is this one, giving us this bigger one. And the rectangle background that you see is really nothing. It's just a glow that has a background on it, just to demonstrate how to use the new macro editor in DaVinci Resolve. So now, if you are new to making macros, here's how it is done. But if you are not new to that and you want just how to use the macro, the new macro editor, the updates and all of that, then jump to this time on the screen. So after you have set everything up, you want to be able to use this on the edit page without having to rebuild it anytime you want this in the Fusion page. But to do that, you have to select everything depending on what you have built. You have to select everything you need, then except the media out node. After this, you can now right click on any of the nodes and this window will pop up. Go to macros. You may have nothing or just a few. In my case, I have a lot. Ignore all of that and go to create macro. And this dialog window will pop up. Now here, let's walk through a few things. If you want to add thumbnails like these little images or letters you see on thumbnails in the on the edit page, if you want to add something like that, I will show how you add it here, but it will appear here when you add it. The macro name, this is what you want the name of the macro to be. So in this case, we will just call it easy background. And when you look at all of these things, they may look a little intimidating, but there is really nothing really to be scared about. Here's how it works. Now, this is the page name. So if you go back to Fusion or even on the edit page, it's the same thing. These guys that you see here, those are the pages. So in this case, let's use, for example, this rectangle. The pages, you have something like the controls, image, or settings. So these are the pages. We will talk about how you can do it just in a moment. And here, you can add the page. When you click it, it will add the page. We'll talk about how you can do that. The meaning of all of these things, we'll talk about them later. But for now, this is what you use for the thumbnail. But for now, let's come over here. If you are new, these are the IDs. This is what the other nodes, every other node in Fusion knows. It's the name of the control. So for example, this rectangle. When we select it and you place your mouse over any of the controls, when we place it here, at the bottom left corner, you can see the name of that particular control. And it is telling us the name of the node, which is a rectangle 1 dot show view controls. That is the ID of the control. In this case, the ID and the name are the same. It is not always like that. When you hover over this similar thing. So now you see where you place it here. what you see is different from the name you see. Here it says cap style. That is what you see. And here it's called cap style because when you uncheck the solid, you then see they are different. Now get the joint style, which is this side, and the cap style, which is this other side. So that is what you see on the macro editor. Or when we come here, yeah, the joint style, that is what you see there. And it is just called border width, and the cap style. That is what you see there also. And at the okay, so that is it. These are the IDs, these are the control names that appear in the UI. Now the type, this is kind of more advanced. When you are building the macro, or sometimes you have to add your own controls. When you go to, for example, here, these guys, either it is a slider or checkbox or anything like button or any of those kind of stuff. Those are determined by these things. That is going to be a number, a point, for example, the center. The default, these are the default values. So for example, since we are using the rectangle, let's take the rectangle controls. The default values that we have on the rectangle, for example, this width, the corner radius, these are the default values we have. The minimum values, these are the lowest values that the slider will allow. Then the maximum values are the values that the slider will allow. So that's kind of it for this panel. But you can type in any number you want. Okay, that's kind of it. Now, this is where we have some view updates. This side. You see this add separator. That is these lines that separate a group of controls from another. Then the add space. You want to add space between controls or a group of controls or whatever you want. That is what you do. So for example, you understand it more as we continue build our macro. Then the add nest. That is for the groups. If you want to group your macro. So let's say for example here, we have this flow, soft flow. So as you can see here, you have this little arrow and the color scale. You have to click the arrow to open it up. That is what the nest is used for. It will help you to group your controls where you can now set it to be open or closed. Now that we have our hands over this, how these things work. Now let's see how we are going to use it. Well, let's say for our main background, we don't need anything from this image page. What we need are these colors. So let's say we want these colors, the type. Yes, where you will be able to choose between gradient, vertical, horizontal, and those things, or solid colors. We need them. So we select them. And as you can see, what you select here will now appear under the controls page. So anything we want, we are going to select. You can select anything you want. I'll just speed this part up so that we can continue with the next section. Okay, now I'm done with the selection. Now that we have the background selected, let's add a separator. And as you can see, we now have a separator. This means anything we will add later will be below this particular line. And if you want to see the separator, it is here under the name of your macro. And you can choose to uncheck it. If you uncheck it, it will disappear like this. But if you want to keep it to, you can check it and it will still appear. That you can't rename it. So that one is one of the downsides. However, let's remember this is still in the beta phase. It's the beta stage. So I hope Black Magic will make some changes and improve it as time goes by. Okay, let's continue with our selection. Now rectangle. You now go for show and as you can see, it's now beginning to appear below that line to separate them, as the name suggests, separated. And now, okay, we are done with our rectangle selection. Let's move on to the glow. So before we move on to the glow, let's add this bullshit blur because I have something to tell you about this bullshit blur. Yeah, keep that in mind. Let's add a space between the rectangle controls and the glow controls. So now let's add a separator to separate them, and then we will add the space. If you check the spacer, you will see there will be no space between them. But if you keep it checked, and there will be a space between. Okay, now let's go ahead and select the glow controls. I'll just speed up this part so that we can go on to the fun stuff. Okay, and just like that, here we are. We now have all of these things. And one of the coolest things that they've also done here is now that you have this, you don't have to save it and then go to macros before you can see what you have. So you can click these three dots, then copy the macro, then go back to Fusion, then Control V or Command V to paste it. And if you select that macro and press 1, you will see it in the viewer. And you can see all the controls are now here. We have our background on top, we have our rectangle, and now the glow is at the bottom with the controls that we selected. But as you can see now, we don't have the names. If you want to group them in the older versions, you have to use a text editor. Now we have the ability to do all of those groupings here. So now that we know we have all of these things and we have come to preview it, we can make any changes that we want and it will affect it just the way we want. We can change this just like something like this, or even change this from looking this way to this, and make all kind of changes, and we know it is working. Let's go and add more stuff to make it more fun. Okay, yeah, this is just for a preview. We still have our original copy here. To group them, let's say all the background controls, we want them to be under one group like we saw earlier. So we click this add next to appear here. Also, just like before, when you select any of these things, we saw that it appeared under these controls. So that's this. When you click this and it appears here, it also will appear under this control. And take note of this number. If this number is set to 1, it means the group is open by default. That's why you can see the arrow pointing downwards. But if you set 0, then you can see the arrow change direction, meaning that group is now by default closed. So while still going to place stuff inside that group, let's set it to 1 so that it's easier to work with. Name it to anything you want. In this case, we will rename it to background, main background. Okay. And when you click anywhere outside this box, the name will be updated here. So just like that. And now you can now drag this and place it anywhere you want. But while dragging and going to place it, take note of that there's a red line. Take note of that. Because where the red line is, if you drop it, that is where the control will be. So now let's go all the way up and place it on top, right below the controls. And when we release it here, we will see the main background over there, just like this. Now it looks like it's open and the controls are already under it, but no, it's not. You see? It's not. There is nothing inside. So to get the stuff inside, it's just as simple as that. We just have to drag and drop them into that particular group. So for example, we drag this type, then we drag and drop it. And as you can see, the separator will always help you to know where a group ends. That's why it's very important. If you don't have it, you add it so that you can keep yourself more organized. So now let's drag the rest and put it there. One thing I like about this updated version is when you are dragging some groups of controls, we have something like compound controls. When you are dragging and dropping them inside a group or into a group, it comes in the group form. You don't have to drag it individually like when we were selecting, we had to select them one after the other. So that's really cool. It speeds up the workflow and it's kind of efficient. So now we drag and drop this left and pay attention to the red line again. Then we drop it and as you can see, it's already inside. We do the same for these ones. To pay attention to the red line. Always keep that red line in mind. That's what is giving you clue where that thing will be dropped. And just like this, and we have all of them inside our background. And when we do this, we can collapse it. When we have this, you can preview this. So you right click, copy macro, go back to Fusion, and let's delete the old one because we've updated it. Then Control V or Command V. And when you view it in the viewer one, now we have this controls with these guys. That's really cool, right? Yeah, it is. So let's just go and repeat the same process for the rectangle. So back to the macro editor. We add nest, then we rename it. We have a rectangle. Okay. Then when you see, look here, you will see it over there. You can drag it just like that, place it wherever you want, and then start dragging and dropping the controls inside. And just like that, we are now done with our rectangle. Let's do the same thing for the glow. We are done with the glow. Now let's collapse this guy and we have it like this. Now you see all of these lines. We will talk about those. Just hold on. So let's go and preview. When we go to the Fusion page, now copy paste this. We should have something like there you go. There you go. There you go. That's really cool. Now, if you save this, that's how it's going macro. Now let's go back to the macro editor and continue. We are having fun, aren't we? Okay, so now let's keep them closed by default. So let's set the numbers to 0. 0 for our main background. So it is closed by default. You see, if you don't close it by default, anytime you make a change to any other control, the others will be open, as you can see here. That's why for example, when we close this one, close them. The moment we make any changes to anything here, you will see that the other will be open. So let's say, for example, we rename this to just something like this. You see that the rest are opened again. Yeah, so that's why if you really don't want it to be opening, just make sure you close it by setting the numbers to 0. I just wish Black Magic could make it like checkbox. Then yeah, you check it and it's closed. You uncheck it and it's open. But this is the same process you go through if you are making your own controls. Either you want it to be open or not. Maybe they want everything to just be the same process throughout the workflow. That's why they just kept it this way. I don't know, but it will be fine if they can just make it simple checkbox. Okay, so now we have created our macro. We have it grouped. Let's create pages for them. So something that I really recommend is this thing doesn't really have button where you can undo. If you made a mistake and you have to undo it, it doesn't really have such buttons. So I highly recommend that anytime you make any changes you are happy or satisfied with, you save that change before you continue to the next change. That way, in case you make a mistake while doing the current one, it is easier for you to go back and get the original one that you have saved. So in this case, before we do the pages, let's save this one. If you are going to save it, there are different options here. If you save it as a macro, it will look like this. Now let's go ahead and save it as a macro. Here's the name, the macro. Then now choose. By default, it will go to the macro folder. So if you don't want it there, you can now select and choose wherever you want it to go. But in this case, we are not done yet. So let's just keep it as a macro. So we say save, we call it background, easy background. So let's click save. Now, when we go back here to Fusion, this one, and we type easy background, we'll have it. And when you preview it, this is how it looks. And we have our stuff just the way we set them up. And now when you look at it closely, you can see this one is just one node. So if you set it as a macro, that is how it will look like. However, if you save it as group, let's say we are going to save as group, save it. So ask us, do we want to replace it? If you have made any changes and you don't want to replace it, then you can give it a different name. But if you want to, you made some new changes, you want to add it to the previously saved one, you can just click replace. And now when we go back, it will be a group, even though it's the same thing. This is the older one. For comparison purpose, let's place it here. Then search again. Easy background is already selected. So we just add it. You can see that this one now is view now group. Let's put these guys here so you can see what we are doing. This now you can open this app and you still have control, still have access to all your nodes. So you can make any changes that you want. Now let's go back and continue. We'll talk about the others after these guys. So let's go to pages, where is where this one comes in. Page, add page. And when we click it, notice what will happen here. So we add page and page name, you can name it. Let's say we want to keep the background, no, the rectangle. Let's say we want to keep the rectangle on this page. So you can just name it rectangle. And just like that, we have the page. And let's say the glow too, we want another page for it, then glow like this. Oh, now when we come over here, just like earlier, we drag and drop the same thing here. We have to drag and it comes with the group, everything, all the controls are inside, and drop it on top of the page icon. And now when you click that page to open it, you will see the rectangle will be there. And under control, same thing for the glow. We just drag and drop it on top of the glow page. And when we go there, we will see that there. That's kind of easy, right? The fun. It's really fun. Black magic. We thank God they did this for us. Hey, now let's talk about these guys. How do we remove them? How do we remove these separators? Well, as I said earlier, you have to uncheck these check buttons and they will be removed like that, just like this. The problem is these ones, they were originally part of the UI. So I don't know really how to get rid of those. You know, if anyone from Black Magic is watching this, please kindly work with the team and let us know how we can fix this kind of stuff. And I thank you for this new updates. It's really cool to make macros more organized now. So now let's go preview it again for quick preview. So let's say copy macro and go back to page. Let's delete this. We expect it to be group because we saved it as group, right? And then paste it and now it's group. Drag and drop it here and yeah, there we go. We have it. And we have our pages. Nicely, nicely, nicely. If you want, you can also make different kind of groups inside another group and all of those things. We just have to make those groups and then drag and drop them into the main group. And they will just be there, fine, waiting for you. Yeah. Can group this, let's say, into positions and group these ones into border or whatever. Then you just drag and drop them inside. I know you are enough and you'll be able to figure that out because it's just the same process. Okay, so now how about let's go and save this so that we don't mess this up. Okay, exciting stuff, right? Let's say we want to make thumbnail for this particular background. For me, most of the time, I just do that thumbnail inside the DaVinci Resolve. It depends on you. There are some creators who use the Fusion page. They just right click and they use this scale option. But for me, I use the color page. Oh, as I'm here now, I just go to the color page. Then I'll right click, grab still. And when you come over here, you will see it in your stills. And I'll just right click again and export it. Export. It will ask you where you want to export it to. So I'm exporting it to my preset thumbnails. Oh, this one, let's name it, let's say, easy background. It could be anything you want. Before you have to name it to be the same name as the setting file. But now it doesn't really matter. But actually, for you to do it, doesn't really matter. Let's add something. Premium edits. Yeah. So you know the name doesn't really matter anymore. And then save this as .png file. You choose the folder you want it saved. In my case, I always save my preset thumbnails here. So export. And now when we go back to our folders and we look for that particular one, in this case, thumbnails like this, and we have it here waiting for us. We double click it to open it up. And now, because that thumbnail is very small, it requires very small dimensions. So what you are going to do is here on Mac, I don't really know how to do this on Windows. So if you are watching this video and you use Windows, sorry, I can't really help you in this case. But I am very sure there are videos out there that can help you. So now, if you are using Mac, while this is open, go to Tools and then go to Adjust Size. And now from here, just set the height to 58. It will automatically adjust the width. Sometimes the width can be 104, but mostly the height 58 with any other width size automatically adjusted will work. And now save this. See, it becomes very, very small. So now, let's go back to our macro editor here in DaVinci Resolve. Okay. And the three dots, click the choose thumbnail, and it will take you to your macro folder. Then you can navigate to the particular folder where you saved that particular thumbnail. Click it and select open, and now it will be here. See that? Now, when we save this, let's save these changes. So, save. That is what this particular save is used for. You made a change, then you just save. And now when you go back, let's say to the Fusion, let's get rid of this. And we search easy background. It's here, but no. Easy background. It's here, but we can't see it. Why? Yeah, we already saved it as a macro. It should appear, right? Actually, I don't really know why we can't see it yet. Now let's save it to the edit page. And now let's see what will happen. So let's go back and save it to the edit page. To save it to the edit page directly, what we have created so far is a generator. So you select the generator. If it's an effect, you select an effect. If it's a transition, you select that, or title, if that is what you have built. In this case, what we have made is generator. So we click the generator and it is automatically saved there to the edit page. So now let's go to the edit page and look for it. If you go there and you don't see it immediately, then restart DaVinci Resolve. Quit it, reopen it, and it should be there. In our case, I am pretty much sure it is here, so there is no need to restart. have this, and then let's search background. Oh, and now there we have it. There we have it. There we have it. Drag and drop it. And there we go. You see. I'm so excited. DaVinci and Black Magic gave us this because it was a very tedious process going in and out of DaVinci Resolve just to get this thing done, having to make sure the names match and all of that. And now, yeah, just like that. And we have it, as you can see. So now we have all our controls. Now we can set this to, let's say, solid to keep it very simple. Yeah, like this, and we can close it. But by default, anytime we change it, it will still, we drag a different one, it will still be the four corners. The reason is because that is what we set at default when building the macro. Yeah, and now anytime you just have to drag and drop this. You can get this below in the description if you are still watching this video by this time. Thank you very much. Get it there in the description for free. You can play with it and do some cool stuff with it. So now we can make any kind of changes that we want. You can make it gradient if you want, like this. Then you change the colors. Change the colors to whatever it is that you want. You come over here to your rectangle and show rectangle. If you want to use the on-screen handles, then you enable fusion overlay like this. And from here, you can start adjusting how you want the rectangle to look. That you want to place it here, here, or whatever you want to do. Yeah. Can animate it and yeah, use the keyframe editor to make all kinds of stuff. The glow to the same thing. Can make any kind of changes you want. It's the threshold or it's the glow, and you have the look that you want. Now, what if you have all of this, but you don't really need the rectangle? You just want it to be like, oh, maybe a square or let's turn off our fusion overlay. Maybe you just want it like, and like a circle or ellipse or maybe something like just a rectangle as a whole. Well, in that case, what you can do is grab this mask, easy mask. It's an effect. Just drag and drop it, and you have something like this where you can make any kind of changes that you want. But this one was made in DaVinci Resolve 20, so it's supported in DaVinci Resolve 20. And get it and make some fun stuff with it. You have motion blur where you can make any kind of changes that you want. Thank you, Lord. Now, you see this little problem? We have a problem here. This position and length. They should be here inside this rectangle, right? Yes. So what are they doing here? So now let's go back to Fusion. We just right click on any empty space and look for edit macro. And we look for the name of our macro, easy background. Okay, there we have it, easy background. And it will bring up our window again. The reason we have that problem is because of this. Look at the rectangle controls we do have here. You see these controls. So when we come to something like solid, you see the solid is checked. That's because the solid is on 1, right? So here it is checked. This thing is same experience with motion blur. So let's fix them. We fix one and you can follow the same steps to fix the other one. Oh, this is what I was talking about, the compound controls. Controls that have other controls inside them that are not visible until you start to use them. So for example, if you, let's say we are here in Fusion. If we are here in Fusion and you click here, you see the main background has this position or length, but they are supposed to be under this rectangle. They should be somewhere here, and they are not. What went wrong? So here is the fix. For us to get them there, we have to fix them here. For us to fix them, if we check solid and we go back there, they will not be shown. You see, they are not longer here. This is what I mean when I talk about the compound controls. These are controls that do have other controls inside them. I don't know if that makes sense. Well, something like motion blur. So the same rectangle. When we check motion blur, you see, normally you should have the quality. As long as you select it, you should have it. But when we look at our motion blur here, we selected the quality. Let's go rectangle. Come on. We selected motion blur quality. So why is it busy? Why can't we find it here? Yes, the reason we can't find it is something we have to fix there on the macro editor. Now, here's the thing. With this motion blur selected, if you go here, you might see it. Where is it? You see the motion blur is here again, under the control. So we made the group. We drag the motion blur. This didn't go with it. It's a compound control. To fix that, let's go back. We have the same problem with the positions. Let's uncheck the solid so that we can see what we are actually doing. Okay. So now we have the problem with these guys. Now this is what we can do. Okay. To fix those, let's start with the solid. The solid is on 1, which means it is checked by default. So if we set it to 0, you set it to 0, it will then be unchecked, and pay attention to this side. It will then be unchecked, and when we open the rectangle, you see now it is unchecked. And as soon as it is unchecked, you will now see those controls over here. But before they were not here. So now that we know where they are, we can now drag and drop them inside the rectangle, following our regular normal steps. So we drag, then we drop them. Drag and drop them. They may not be under the solid the way we want it, but you can still come over here and now place them wherever it is that you want. Maybe you want them under border with this. As you can see, anytime we make a change, it closes because the rectangle, the rectangle by default is closed, as I was explaining earlier. So now we have it this way. But if we leave it like this and we save this, what will happen is our solid will always remain unchecked. So to fix that, let's go back to the solid and turn it back to 1 so that it will be checked. So 1, and now we have our solid checked. And if we save this, anytime we go back to that change will be exactly what we have updated it to be. So now let's do the same thing for the motion blur so we don't have to go and come back. So let's look for our motion blur here. Let's set motion blur to 1 to check it. That way we will see our parameter or that way we will see the quality. You see it's checked. The quality is not here because the quality is over here. So now we drag and drop the quality inside the rectangle, and the quality will be inside this page, but it's still not really inside the rectangle. And we drag and drop it here. But don't forget to go back to the motion blur and set it back to 0, as in you uncheck it or you close it. If you don't do this, motion blur is resource intense. So your computer will start lagging or something, depending on the quality or the kind of device you are using. So now we set our motion blur back to 0, and now everything is set to go. We don't have these changes reflecting in our macro yet because we haven't saved it. So to save it, we are now going back to our 3 dots. Save as group as always. Then we will click save, replace. Yes, replace. Now let's go back page and see if it is fixed or not. Let's try put this one away. Even yeah, easy and type easy background. And now you can see we have our thumbnail. So when we click it and add it here, we have everything here now. So review this. Yeah. And now when we uncheck the solid, you see we now have our position and length here. When you go back here, it's no longer here. So yeah, that's how you can fix it. Even though this works in the Fusion page, if you go back to the edit page, you have to do is you have to resave it back into the edit page. So now that we have this, let's put save and then save to generators. Now let's go back to the edit page. And now when we are here on the edit page, let's search again. Easy background. You now have two of them. It didn't overwrite the previous one. So what you can do is check which one it is. So in this case, we place this one here and we check over here. And we uncheck and as you can see. So let's try this one also and see. Maybe it really came because it has to. When we come over here, this one, let's go to rectangle, then uncheck solid, and now you can see. Yeah, and now this new one has it. So what you have to do is you go to the macro editor, make the changes, save it there, then export it to the edit page. And let's say you have it like this, but you want it as a rectangle, like this, look as a rectangle. If you want, you can grab this easy rectangle in the description. You just have to drag and drop it like this. And now you have this cool effect. And you can also make it even more premium by adding this. You see how the effect is going to affect it? By adding this bevel on top like this. Now you can control them. You see the difference? We haven't even made any adjustments yet. Now from here, the bevel depends on how you want it to look. And either have it this way or something like this. You can control the direction of the light where you want all of that and even animate it. But if you want to turn it into a DRFX file, then watch this video next.